So I thought I'd call this video Holly Talking Mess. And the reason for that is that I have some thoughts that I want to share with y'all. And to those to whom it applies, they probably will agree with the title. Because, I find that the closer I get to God, the more the enemy tries to come at me. And he will send these individuals to annoy you. Their sole purpose is to ruin your day, to make somebody unhappy. For you little kids out there, some of them bullies, their sole purpose is to see you cry. But what? If you cry, they won. You got to smile and stay strong because the enemy, one of the prayers, before I get into my rant, and believe me, I do have one, but one of the prayers that I say daily and nightly is, though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting out imaginations, and every high thing that exalted itself above the knowledge of God, and bringing in every captivity, every thought to the obedience of Christ. Now, I just want to speak on that a little bit. A lot of you are losing this war with the enemy because you don't know your enemy. You're fighting a battle that you cannot win because you haven't studied your opponent. Any prize fighter will tell you. I briefly dated someone who did that for a living, who fought for a living in my youth. And he's going to remain nameless because it's not important. But the point of it is that one of the things he had to do before a fight, way before a fight, like the minute he knew who he was fighting, he had to learn his opponent. Even when the fight was still being in the planning stages and no contracts had been signed, he was looking at tapes of the opponent and just all kinds of things to enlighten himself. So I'm using that to say that many of you are in a fight where you haven't bothered to study your opponent. And when you don't do that, you always lose, because the opponent's job is to make you unhappy. So that's part of knowing your opponent. What is his motivation? Other than just winning. The winning comes when he ruins your day. But the opponent, the spiritual opponents that we fight, what gives them the win is our knockout. It's when they have, achieved in knocking us out by either ruining our day, making us cry, making them respond evilly. Oh, so that brings me to, many of you know I play cello, and I just want to put in here, that brings me to my latest cello street ministry, which is what it is indeed, and I'm going to tell you why I say that. So I've been on the streets of New York, and I've been playing my cello and meeting people, and I asked the Lord, I said, I want to get a costume, Lord, but I want it to be appropriate, and I want it to be meaningful. And what could I dress in that would not only implore the people to come over, but make a statement as well? And so I was given the concept of dressing as an angel. And I'll show you. I'm on the streets in New York in this angel costume. And the attire varies. The only thing that's consistent is the halo and the wings. And how appropriate is that? Because since I've been out there as an angel, I've had people ask me to bless their pets. Now, I don't do this, because really? But just so you get an idea, I've had people come and ask for prayer, which is always good. That I can do. We can definitely do. We can do that all day, every day. But then when it comes to the advice, I've had people actually ask me advice. And sometimes that can be tricky because even if I can give you good advice on that particular topic, if you turn around and do what you was going to do anyway, then why are you asking me? So I think a lot of people, and then you have some people who just love the costume and they smile and so forth. So I say that to bring up why I have to talk things. In fact, I'll start it off with what happened in my costume, which will be a segue right into the things I have to rant about. So I was out dressed as an angel, and I was playing my cello, as you can see, jamming. Yes, I'm known as Cello Angel, just so you know, if you want to look for me. And this little girl came up with her mother, and the little girl said, "Why are you wearing an angel costume?" Oh, actually, my halo is here. I could put it on while I talk to you. I didn't realize I had it here so close by. I thought I'd actually have to go get it, and I'm like, they don't, you know. But anyway, this is part of it. Oh, you can see my wings in the back. Oh, good. Let me do some adjusting. Like I said, it's night. I'm in New York, and it's Saturday night, and it's raining, so I can't go out and do what I do, which is one of the reasons I haven't been in touch with you guys, is because, oh, look at that. I'm an angel. So, and these are the wings. They're huge. And so the little girl said, "Well, why are you dressed in your angel costume?" And I said, "Well, sweetie, it's to remind me to be good, because I can be bad. And I don't like that side, and I'm a child of God, and I want to represent that and only that. But the enemy is sending forces to cause me to react badly. And so I have to stay, not just prayed up, but I have to have a reminder, a physical reminder of who I am and why I can't react badly." So now I'm going to go into my first story. Family, the other day, I almost died. It's a fact. For some reason, I had got a little short of money this month. And I had wound up, when I say with nothing to eat, basically what I'm saying is that I wound up with not my choices of things to eat. I have vegetables and stuff, but most of them, if they're fresh, they have a slow death in the refrigerator. And I'm going to get to the point. Someone complained that I go off topic. Well, I do. This is, you know, I'm old. This is what we do. And so I have these things, you know, in my closet that I don't care for, like canned food I got from the pantry. So I call it emergency food. But for some reason the other day, and so I'm leading to my rants. So the other day, I got caught up with just those things, and I didn't want any of them. And so I thought, you know what, I'll just chill because it's 2 days before my government benefits. And NetSpin tells people, and I got to give a shout out to NetSpin, and this is not a commercial, but I need to just say this. They keep it 100. They said if you get government benefits, you could get them as early as 2 days early. So I had counted on that. That's the other reason, too. I had wound up down to my staples, the last items that I truly didn't care for and would only eat if I was absolutely starving to death. And that's a shame because I don't know if canned vegetables got nutrients, but I would guess they don't. Plus, they got a lot of salt. But if I was starving and there was absolutely nothing else on the planet to eat, I would eat canned vegetables. Okay, so that day I said, you know what, I'm just going to chill because it is 2 days before my benefits. NetSpin said we're going to get our money, so, you know, I can chill, and when I get the money, when it drops in my account, then I'll go and get food. Well, lo and behold, by 2 in the afternoon, it still, no, by 12 in the afternoon, it still hadn't dropped. Now, my experience with them in the past has been that my deposits and other stuff usually comes either after 10 in the morning or after 10 at night. So I was starting to feel some kind of way. So I went down to my lobby, and this is about how I almost died. I went down to my lobby, and I'm sitting there, and I see a neighbor. Now, this is that same old ass hating guy I told you guys about in another video. I don't know. Think about it. If you think back, you might remember. He's the one, he always something snide to say, and the one I told you, he probably was cute when he was younger, but he forgotten that he's old now. Anyway, so he finally decided he wanted to try to get back on my good side. But what the enemy doesn't tell you, because he's not going to identify himself clearly. See, I want to dress as an angel because, one, I want people to acknowledge that I am a good person, that it's not just a costume, that I really do care about you. I really do love you in the name of Jesus, agape love. And, I also want to entertain you and bring you joy. So I'm happy when people laugh at the costume. I'm happy when people, want to take pictures with me. That's their favorite thing. Okay, so I'm down in the lobby and I see this guy, and he sees, the enemy. He has his warriors that he has employed. He has them on watch. That's another thing some of you don't do. You don't stay on watch. You got to stay on watch. You've got to know not just your enemy, but what his plans are. Some of you get sleepy and tired or do things that's going to keep you from focusing on what you need to be focusing on, which is this hella world out there. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful things about it, but unless you're prayed up or you're in the Word, you're going to miss things. And that's how the enemy gets you too. It's a trap. So long story short, here's this guy. He's decided he wants to try to get close with me. And so he started doing things like holding the door, which you should have been doing any damn way. But anyway, when he was mad at me, he could be a real ass. Yes, the angel said ass. And so at any rate, he decides, he does that there. Then another day he's helping me with my walker, and I'm on a walker now, guys. I gave up the cane. I need the walker, and it's working for me because I got a seat now. Wherever I go, I can sit myself down if I want to, which I usually do. Okay, so I started being nice to him too, to a certain degree. But remember this, and it's kind of important, and some of you may disagree with me, but I'm going to say it anyway. Very rarely does the horse change color. People can become better people, but even the Bible says this: how a man thinketh in his heart is how is he. So you have to remember, if there's a person that has been consistently evil to you, and now all of a sudden they want to be nice or friendly and get back in with you in your circle, you have to think, especially if you see that, because the Lord will give you a vibration about people. I get that often. And very rarely am I wrong. And I've always had a bad vibration from this person, but I've always tried to be compassionate and give him a chance. So this time around, I was slowly giving him a chance. And that brings me back to the lobby and me feeling like I was going to go into diabetic coma. I told this person who had told me, now that we were speaking again, how he couldn't wait till we had started speaking again. And that I found slightly amusing, because I'm like, really? Because I didn't miss not speaking to you. And I wanted to say, God forgive me, but I was thinking, and I really would prefer not to speak to you, because he had that evil vibe. Well, long story short, now you've told me, you've got me speaking to you again. We're supposed to be trying to be friends, we chit-chat a little bit. I'm telling you, I'm going into diabetic coma. I'm sitting there, he's telling me, oh, you look sleepy. And I'm like, no, I'm going into diabetic coma. And he's like, oh, you're going to be falling out in a minute. And I'm like, thinking to myself, asshole, I just told you I'm going into diabetic coma. Because what I did foolishly is I came down to the lobby, I sat down, and I'm like waiting. I was waiting for these angel wings. That's what I was waiting for them to show up. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe by the time I get upstairs, I'll have some money, the money will be there, because I really need to get something to eat. But that was stupid, because while I'm sitting there, I start going into diabetic coma. And So I'm telling this guy, because he's the only one down there. And he's laughing and making these dumb jokes. And then he said that because he's so nasty, he made another joke about, yeah, you better not pass out because they'll rob you. And I'm thinking about, I don't have no money. And I'm like, well, they're not going to get anything. And then his piggy ass says, and I said ass again. Yes, the angel said ass twice, if you're keeping track. And I told his nasty self that, I didn't have any money, because he was like, oh, someone's going to rob you. And he says to me, his nasty self says to me, that's not the only thing they could rob you of. And I knew immediately what filth he was thinking. But the point of the matter is that you call yourself a friend. You say you want to come back into my good graces. And I'm telling you, I'm going into diabetic coma, and you are still thinking with your penis. Yeah, it's probably another bad one. But anyway, so that affirmed to me that this is one of Satan's minions. And he hasn't changed who he is. He's the same low-class, nasty person that he's always been. Because he doesn't, some evil people, don't get it twisted. There's a lot of people out there, they don't want to change their evil ways. They're quite content being who they are. So it's not going to work if you think you're going to change others. Focus on yourself. Focus on just knowing your enemy and recognizing that they don't have your back. They don't love you. And unless they have truly found God, they are still the same hateful, evil-ass people that they've been. And so God is so good. Because this man, he made a stupid comment. After I told him for the third time, I need something to eat. I'm going into diabetic coma. Just a little piece of bread or a candy, something to bring my sugar up, right? One of the people who worked downstairs, he brought me up some spaghetti, I think it was. But I couldn't go up and make that. I couldn't even walk. I'm about to pass up. So I'm sitting there with a box of, that's kind of funny, actually. Because I'm going to die with a box of spaghetti in my hand, and all I needed was to eat that. Oh, my goodness. I can see the memes now. But at any rate, so this niglet has the audacity to come over to me when I tell him for the third time that I'm in diabetic coma and I need something to eat. He has the audacity to tell me, oh, well, I'm going upstairs. I might have something upstairs. He has something because he get from pantry every week. He takes his anyway. So he's like, when I go upstairs, when you go upstairs, I might be dead already. So, and he was trying to be funny because the thought of me in diabetic coma was amusing to him because he's evil. And that's the other way you can tell evil people, because they always find humor in things that are not necessarily funny. And this guy actually laughed, and then he made another stupid joke on his way out because he was going to pantry that day. And so now I'm going to tell you, and this is the same story, so I haven't left, but it has an extremely happy ending, because I'm going to show you how when the enemy shows out, God shows up. So this person, he had his little laugh, and he went and got his little pantry, and I didn't see him anymore that day. So my wings came, and I was already in the lobby, and I decided, hey, I'll get my wings, and now I'll head upstairs. And so I got the wings. Oh, you're probably wondering what I'm doing. I don't like that you can't. I like to see a person's face when they tell me things. And I'm going to get back to everything, to the happy ending. But, and they've even turned that into something ugly. But anyway, so I'm putting the light bulb, I'm taking the shade off and just leaving the light bulb so that you can see my face when I talk to you. Because when people tell me things, especially if they seem incredible, I want to see their face, because the face can usually tell you things about the person in terms of, you know, honesty. And so I want you guys to know that I'm being real honest when I tell you how this story ended. I went upstairs. The wings came, and so I went upstairs. And I got in the house, and something said, "Look at your phone." And I'm thinking to myself, why? Because it was now it was around 2 o'clock. And so I'm like, why should I even bother to look at my phone? The money didn't come by now, and they're usually definitely here by now. So I'm not going to check it. Well, when you hear that voice that just, it kind of seems like it, you have to do something, and it won't let you go until you do it, that's, especially if you're righteous, it's a righteous voice, and you have to answer it. I checked my phone, and I'm not going to tell you all the amount, but my husband's money was there, my money was there, your girl was good. First thing I did was call the store so I could get some food. And I found that my mood had changed, and everything, like that whole ugly, evil heaviness had left me. And so my point is that was a twofold lesson. I had taken this person back into my graces because I foolishly assumed that he had changed because of the few nice things that he had done for me. Like I said, he held the door, and then the next thing I knew, he was helping me in with the walker and so forth. And so I, mistakenly thought that he was on my team. He was worthy of being in my circle. And this is how you should think as well. You have to think, you don't have to, but you should think about the person in terms of what do they add to your circle and what do they take away. And you don't have to be someone, elite, or, how people make these little cliques and these sororities and all this crap, and only certain people can join. No, this is for everybody. We have got to choose wisely. Sometimes you got to do a background check. I seen the commercial on TV where the woman said that she, would do a background check on people who her daughter was dating. And they were advertising some software that was being sold. And I said to myself, yes, because not every friend request we accept. And so the lesson in what happened to me that day was that I didn't listen the first time. The Spirit had given me direction about this person from the day I met him. And I was disobedient because, like I said, this person's outer appearance, and this is the other thing too. A lot of you think evil only looks evil. Oh no. Evil sometimes look good. Oh goodness. And that's the whole part of it. It's like you have to dress for the role. The same way that that I'm dressing as an angel, it doesn't mean I am one. A lot of people are so beguiled and misled by the outer appearance of things. And the Word talks about this as well. It says that man looks at the outer appearance of things, but God looks at the heart. So a lot of you get so caught up with like a beautiful girl or a beautiful guy, and inside lurks the most ugly things, but you don't see it. We only look at what we see, That's that lust. And only once you're delivered from it when you're delivered from lust, and it's such a freedom. Oh my goodness, makes me want to throw a party, because I definitely was guided by lust. Even now, although it doesn't guide me and it doesn't determine my decisions, I still find myself looking, and but it doesn't go any further. And the enemy will try to make it go further. So for those of you who are caught up in looks, then the enemy will send you exactly what you like. Remember that song by T.I.? You can have whatever you like. Yep. Well, that's the enemy in hell singing, you can have whatever you like. Yep. All right, so that was the lesson it taught me, that I should have listened the first time, and that I was looking at the outer appearance, which were the things that he was doing in this case, that I was observing and saying, oh, he's become nice now. Not. And I think also the second lesson, because there were two, is that we must wait upon the Lord. And so I was anxious, which was probably what was giving me the feeling that I had in terms of my feeling like I was going into coma. It probably wasn't that, now that I think about it. I think I was so anxious about the net spin money being there and the fact that I didn't have any food that I liked, that made me feel that way. And that it was probably just the anxiety, I was probably having some type of panic attack. And so when I got upstairs and the money was there, that message that I received was that you should wait upon the Lord. We should wait upon the Lord. And we used to have a song back in the day, and I know y'all don't like when I sing, but I'm going to sing whenever I feel like singing, and this brings me to sing. He's an on-time God. Oh, yes, he is. He's an on-time God. Oh, yes, he is. He may not come when you want him, but he'll be right there on time, 'cause he's an on-time God. Oh, yes, he is. And that's what I received that day when I got up there and my money was there and I was able to do what I needed to do and take care of myself. That spoke to me that you got to be patient. So many of you, the reason y'all get caught up out in this music industry is that some of y'all are not patient. And this is why some of you have bad relationships too, because you're not patient. You're looking at the outer appearance of things. It all segues into the same thing, actually. You're looking at the outer appearance. You're going to see why in a minute. You're looking at the outer appearance of things. Whatever it is you like. I don't know what you like, but fat, slim, tall, short, light, dark, whatever. And you're not bothering, once you see that thing that engulfs your carnal nature, you become consumed. And you're desiring and lusting after something because of the way it looks. You haven't bothered to get to know the person. There could be a demon inside crying to get out. But you don't care because it looks good. Some of you are in the hellish, most hellish place in your life right now because that beautiful creature that lies next to you is the source of all your aggravation. And it's not even just the lust, because it is a true battle between good and evil. So it's not just that you lusted after this beautiful thing, but it's also because we are still who we are in heart. And I said this to you in the beginning. There are many of you who you have the outward appearance of good, But in your heart, you're no good. And that's very scary, because there are people who are fooled by your outer appearance, and they don't know that you are no good. So that's a lesson I got from that. And I think I actually probably belabored on it enough. There are a couple other things I wanted to talk about as well. I'm a fan, and this is going to shock some of you, of Cardi B. No, I'm not drunk. But I have become a fan. I didn't know who she was, and I'm not a follower of her music or anything, but I'll get into that in a minute. But I want to say that those of you who don't know, and then there are those of you who do know, and I'm going to move it real close so you can see. I am 60, well, I'll be 62. I'm actually 61 years old. And I'll be 62 on September 18th. So when this young girl told me, oh, I'm going to a Cardi B concert, I'm like, who? And she's like, Cardi B, oh, you know, and all this. And she's going on and on and on. And I said, well, good. Have fun. Be safe. And so I didn't think about her again. And then the other day, and this is the way God works as well. The other day, I was looking for something. I don't remember what it was. And up pops Cardi B. So I'm like, oh, this is the girl was talking about. So I click it, and Cardi, that mouth, she's spouting off like a demon. But I listen to what she is saying, and I hear a child of God. And she's young, so she still has time to grow in the Lord, but she speaks truth. And the devil is a liar. He is the father of lies. So when he speaks to you, it's always going to be a lie. Put on your gas mask, because it's going to smell like, oh, you know what. And my point is that this girl, even with that nasty mouth, Carly, even with that, you spoke truth. And that's refreshing, because I would not have guessed that you would. To me, you're the real star. I'm not going to mention the other person that you talked about, but the thing that caught my ear, and it wasn't about them anyway, it was what you said, that when you were stripping, where were these people? And I feel that way. When I was sleeping on the subway, where were some of you people? And not all, but they're your haters. They're also going to be with those who truly love and respect you. I found when I was in the industry, especially when I was at the top of my game, and I was working, and I was the HNIC. I had people who worked for me who were genuinely on the team, and they were good, and I trusted them. And then there were other people who were not on the team, but they pretended to be on the team because for whatever reason they wanted to be on my team. And that's the story I just told you about. And sure enough, you're going to have both. You're going to have those who maybe not wanted to be on your team when you were at the strip club, Carly. But you see them around you now, don't you? And that's my point, too. it's like, a lot of people, this guy, he saw different things coming my way. I've been offered commercials. I'm in videos. I have people coming to visit who are, enamored by what I do. And the Lord has also blessed me with my kitty cat hustle, which, I get to take care of the felines. And I wish he would come over. Any other time he would be over here, but he's not over here right now. I would bring him and put him in front of the camera if he did, the one I'm boarding now. And so, when people see God blessing you, it creates a lot of resentment and anger. Some of them feel like, well, why didn't he bless me? What did I do? Why she's better than me? And they're either going to try to slip in through the back door or come and act reticent and tell you how sorry they are they weren't good to you or nice to you when you were in high school or grade school. And then they're going to try to get you to believe that now they're your friend. And so, yeah, Cardi, that's what's going on. Welcome to the biz. But I like that you kept it real, and I like that you said you refused to be fake in order to make it. And I also like that you defended the fact that you did not sleep your way to the top, because I'm one that was bawling and in control and out of control as well, and I did not sleep my way. So there are women who don't sleep their way, and I'm glad you stood up for us, because what an insult. What nerve. Who said that anyway? You know what? You need me to come over there. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, okay. I think I pretty much exhausted this. I'm done. I needed to get some things off my chest. And I wanted to just give Cardi a shout out, because I don't look at love and hip hop or none of that, because I've been there, done that. I don't need to see that. We just love different ones. I used to be in love with Kool Moe Dee. Oh my goodness. No disrespect to the wife, but oh. Anyway, I love y'all. I'm going to say a little prayer like I always do. It's late at night, and Grandma's usually asleep at this time. So if I seem a little bit out of it, that's why. Just so you know. But I thought it was important to make this video. Okay. Lord, I ask you to look over those of us who are talented, who wish to serve you, who are being targeted by the enemy in order that he can block our blessings, because that's what he's trying to do. The minute you begin to rise like an angel, the enemy begins to plot your downfall. And this is it's very unfortunate, but it's true that because of where we are in this world, there's good and evil. We're not in heaven yet, so we can't really perceive goodness and be good and be surrounded by good, because that's not the reality of this place in which we dwell. This is a hellish place that we dwell. So, Lord, I ask you to protect and cover us. We love you, Lord. And there is nothing, no material thing on this earth, Lord, that is worth our relationship with you. We thank you, Lord. We thank you so much. We thank you for the sunshine and the rain, because that keeps us, and it helps us to keep things within perspective. It's like watching a movie, we go and we see the fakeness of it, But then some of us leave there wishing that it was our reality. And Lord, for one, I thank you for my trials and tribulations because they help me to be a better person today. Teach the people, Lord, to be humble. It's so important. They get so full of themselves sometimes that they forget to be humble, Lord. So help them to remember that it is through you that all grace comes. Everything I got, everything I am, is through you, Lord. Lastly, Lord, I want to say thank you for the ministry. Thank you for the entire picture that now I see, because I couldn't see it all, but I trusted you, Lord, and I'm so glad I did. I thank you for the subscribers. I thank you for those who simply just check in. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.